helicopters. But coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to hear from the crew on what fans can expect in that upcoming movie. Exciting stuff. Glad to see the film industry back in Augusta. Okay, you're looking now at the Albany Principal, that's down in southwest Georgia, on the roof. It is actually for a good cause. He told his students he would spend one night up there if they could raise $8,000 to support the school. And as you can see, both sides made good on that promise. The students actually beat the goal, raising more than $11,000. And he says last night wasn't the ideal night, but he made good on it anyway.
When I looked at the weather last week, tonight was not supposed to be as cold as it is. But I'm from Michigan, so it's just gonna be like I'm up north for the night.
Check this out. His students gave him snacks using a fishing rod tied to a bag. So, man, talk about making good on your promise. He gets a gold star for that. Keeping his word, Anthony.
A little bit chilly, too, last night. They got down into the 30s, 40s.
Wrdw.com.
In a lot of parts of the country, police and community relations are strained, but sometimes it's the most unlikely of bonds that help to bridge those gaps.
All it took was a smile and a conversation to create a beautiful friendship. Natasha Chin shows us how.
When she's not responding to 911 calls, 25-year-old Atlanta police officer Melina Lim starts every day by checking in on businesses around northwest Atlanta.
There have been times where I've actually walked into a robbery at these locations before.
But it's the stop near the end of her day that brings a smile to her face.
You know, I really think so much of her.
Shortly before the pandemic, Lim drove past Jawi Bilal Fahim, who goes by Doc, on the side of the road, and noticed his sign.
He wasn't begging for any money or anything. He was just smiling, holding his sign, waving at everyone. And so I went to go grab my lunch, and I decided, hey, I'm going to get 2 lunches today.
61-year-old Doc, who told us his drinking and drug addictions have cost him well-paying jobs in the past, remembers the first time Lim pulled over to talk. He wondered if he had a warrant out on him and thought Lim was going to take him to jail.
I remember that I was afraid, but she quickly eases the relationship and basically says, what do you need?
When George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis last year, their connection strengthened at a time when police and community relations were deeply strained.
He is very pro BLM, and I was able to get him a special shirt that said BLM, Black Lives Matter.
Lim made sure Doc was safe during major protests, all while working long shifts.
We stuck by together a lot during the protest.
Yeah.
I knew the community was hurting. I knew that their trust was broken with us. But the main reason I got into this job was to connect those ties with the community. That we're not always the enemy.
And with the rise in anti-Asian attacks and the recent spa shootings in Atlanta, Doc is concerned for his friend too.
Just having conversations, seeing people as just that people, it goes a long way.
It sure does, and it definitely leads by example. People can say, wait a minute, they're friends, maybe we can be friends. It just, what a great story. I wish people would take the time just to get to know one another.
That would solve probably a lot of our problems. One problem that we are not able to solve right now is the threat of severe weather on our weekend.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, guys, unfortunately, we do have the chance for severe storms as we...
6 on your side, wherever you go. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
The Augusta Green Jackets just days away from making their comeback, and we are ready for them. We are live from the park tonight with what you can expect this season.
Plus, was your water bill up this month? We're hearing from many of you who certainly think so. We're on your side talking to Augusta Utilities about what you should do if you think you owe more than you should.
And it's an issue health experts say they're keeping a close eye on heart issues in middle-aged adults after COVID-19. We're on your side tonight with what you need to know. The first sunny skies today, but unfortunately some rain is on the way, maybe even some storms for our weekend.
Yeah, Saturday's not looking good. There's potential for severe storms as early as tomorrow morning. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale is in the Weather Center tracking it all. And Riley, how much rain could we be talking here?
We're talking multiple inches, Meredith. I think a good bet that most of us see at least an inch and a half of rain, and we could see some higher totals between 2 to 3 inches. You can see those storms starting to really get going across Texas, Oklahoma this afternoon. This is going to be that system that heads our way tomorrow and brings that severe weather threat towards us. Now, tomorrow is a first alert weather day. We are anticipating the threat for strong to severe thunderstorms, including the potential for a few isolated tornadoes, damaging wind gusts. Heavy rain could pose an isolated flooding risk, especially for our urban environments that just flood very easily. So a fairly impactful system for us that's going to affect us with multiple different waves. So starting early tomorrow morning, we can start to see some early morning showers. The first wave of storms would most likely be timed out from mid-morning into mid-afternoon, and then a second wave later into Saturday evening. We'll have much more on this threat coming up in your first alert forecast.
Well, imagine getting this $5,000 water bill with little to no explanation attached. That was the case for a local woman who says she is still not sure how Augusta Utilities got it so wrong.
Yeah, that's really high. It's not the first time we've seen this problem, though, and many of you on Facebook say you feel like your bill was up this month, too. News 12 Sydney Heiberger on your side, get to the bottom of it, and has what you should do if you are in the same situation.
Right, Meredith, the Augusta Utilities Department tells me there are a variety of different reasons a water bill might increase. Things like a leak, a toilet running, or, of course, increased water usage in the spring and summertime. But in that case of that $5,000 water bill, the department tells me the issue was just human error.
The Augusta Utilities Department lives by their slogan, water is life.
We need water.
But people like Cassandra Lofton say that natural resource is costing them hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month.
My paper statement that came in that I had 41,000 gallons of water used. And it's just a family of 4. There's no way. We don't have a pool. We don't have any leaks. There's no issues going on.
What she says was a $72 bill last month is more than $300 this month. One woman mistakenly charged for more than 1.2 million gallons of usage. A more than $5,000 bill.
I just hope that we get down and bottom this and can fix it because, I mean, we're in a pandemic and we need help.
Leidra Collins with Augusta Utilities says if it's not a leak or increased usage, the higher charges could be human error, like in the case of the $5,000 bill.
We can look at the data to see what the usage has been over, say, the past 40 days. And once we do that, then we're able to say, okay, it looks like during this period there was a lot of consumption or not.
She says all you have to do is pick up the phone.
If you have an issue, no matter how big or small you may feel it is, don't hesitate to give us a call so that we can work with you.
Yeah, definitely a scary thing when you get a bill like that in the mail. Augusta Utilities tells me there's been no system error to cause people's bills to increase this month. So if you think there's been a department issue with your bill, they say they'll send someone to your home or business to reread your water meter. They also say if you have a leak, you can bring them documentation that the leak has been repaired, and they say they'll work with you.
During the pandemic, Augusta Utilities was estimating people's water usage based on their previous bills. Then they say they went back and looked at people's actual readings and charged them accordingly. They said that did cause some errors in billing, but they claim it's all been sorted out now. But definitely keep a close eye if you think something's off.
New tonight, a truck driver has been found at fault in a train crash in Harlem. We first brought you this story Tuesday. Authorities say the driver of the 18-wheeler tried to go over the tracks, even though signs prohibit tractor-trailer rigs from doing that. The truck got stuck, which is how it got hit by the train. Luckily, no one was injured. The driver of the truck, though, has issued some tickets for failing to obey traffic and train signals. Also new tonight, the CDC says it recommends resuming use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. A panel of advisors just voted on that in the last hour, agreeing that the benefits outweigh the risks. The shots are expected to have a new warning, though, about increased risk of rare but serious blood clots for adult women.
Local health experts are keeping their eye on a new issue that's popping up in adults months after they've recovered from COVID-19.
They say they're seeing more middle-aged adults suffer heart-related issues. News 12's Brady Trapnell gives us a look inside University Hospital's post-COVID treatment clinic, where doctors say patients are coming in often.
It's a miracle they survive.
They're saying it's a miracle you're still breathing.
81-year-old Abraham Manimalev spent 9 days fighting COVID-19 at University Hospital back in January.
In the night I cannot sleep. I get all kind of wild dreams. I sleep for half an hour, 1 hour.
Months later, he's still exhausted and can barely walk, but thankfully doing better, thanks to Dr. Darshak Karia.
What we're now seeing 6 months later is a lot of patients with the post-COVID syndrome.
He treats many patients just like Abraham, but there's others as young as 25 years old.
We've also seen young patients getting heart attacks and blood clots because of COVID.
Some were even asymptomatic, but months later experienced symptoms.
Palpitations, blood pressure issues, arrhythmias, heart failure.
Doctors still aren't sure exactly why, but many believe it's because of the strong immune reaction caused by COVID that can cause blood clotting.
Chances are, if you had COVID, there was some subtle attack to the heart, whether that translated into symptoms.
Dr. Karia is seeing 2 to 3 new post-COVID patients every week, each facing their own unique struggles.
Shortness of breath, or not being able to climb up the stairs, or dizziness, or falls. You might want to get checked out.
Reporting in Augusta, Brady Troutnell on your side.
University's post-COVID clinic is starting immediately. That's how serious the need is. AU Health is also running a post-COVID treatment clinic. They say they're seeing similar issues and they expect to serve these patients for quite some time.
There's a new pop-up vaccine clinic coming to South Augusta. Next week, AU will be setting up shop at Diamond Lakes Regional Park in Hephzibah. That program is kicking off Monday at 2:30, and it's led by AU President Dr. Brooks Keel and some other community leaders. AU says the new site is part of its continued effort to get vaccines to Augusta's underserved and minority communities. Meanwhile, this mass vaccination site in Washington County is getting ready to close. This is the one that opened back in March at the Word of Life Church in Sandersville. State officials say it and 7 other mass vaccination sites will shut down next month once their contracts expire. If you want to squeeze in an appointment before then or look at clinics going up across our area, you can head to our website, wrdw.com, or our WRDW app.
We are definitely overdue for some baseball on the river, but the wait is almost over. Tickets go on sale Monday for the Augusta Green Jacket season.
So exciting. The first home game is coming up May 4th against the Columbia Fireflies. And if you're planning to hit the ballpark sometime this spring or summer, there are some changes you need to know about. News 12's Nick Fredo live from SRP Park tonight. And Nick, what kind of changes can fans expect?
Well, Meredith, for the most part, it's going to be pretty much the same as what we've seen at other sporting events. Mask requirements, limited capacity, spaced out seating. They're also going to open up more entrance gates so everybody's not trying to file through this main entrance right here. All that, so for the first time since September 7th of 2019, we'll have Green Jackets baseball.
We never thought that day would be, the last Green Jackets game for this long.
As the clock counts down to the next Green Jackets game, the excitement cranks up.
It's at the highest it's been in a very long time. Obviously, internally, we're very, very, very excited.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to going to games again.
The season will be met with a lot of changes. As with most sporting events, masks are required and social distancing is encouraged. The season will start with 50% stadium capacity. It's about 3,000 fans. Green says they'll sell tickets a few weeks at a time because as state capacity limits change, the team will make adjustments as well. But maybe the biggest change, the team is now part of the Atlanta Braves organization. And for lifelong Green Jackets and Braves fans like David Peltier, it's a perfect match.
Having the opportunity to really be able to see the future of the Braves that we're going to see up in Atlanta come through Augusta now is just an awesome experience I think fans are really going to be looking forward to.
Peltier says it's hard to top the feeling of the first ever game at SRP Park in 2018. But if there's anything that can come close, it'll be the return of Green Jackets baseball.
With it officially coming back again, I think you're going to get a replica of that moment of fans just overjoyed to see baseball back here in Augusta, and they're ready to see some ball.
SRP Park has held more than 150 different events since the last Green Jackets game, and Green tells me the excitement level was at an all-time high just for some Little League baseball because it meant baseball back in the park, so you can only imagine the excitement level knowing opening day is just 11 short days away. Guys.
Absolutely, Nick. And also, isn't it a return to normalcy? We're starting to get back so many of these things that were taken from us during COVID.
Absolutely. That's one thing they talked about as well. It's not quite normal because, capacity limits and whatnot. But like I said, they are working with the state. So as the season goes on, we could see those capacity limits even increase and get even closer to fully normal.
We'll take it. Thanks for that update, Nick.
We are checking on hot spots in Aiken County after those fires yesterday. This is what it looked like near the Piney Heights Road fire earlier today. You can still see it's smoking over there. We also spoke to the South Carolina Forestry Commission about the fire near the Trolley Run subdivision. They had crews out there all day keeping an eye on things just to make sure no hot spots flared up again. So those calm winds definitely on their side today. If you take a look at this map from the SCFC, it tracks all the active and contained fires in the Palmetto State, and you can see both of those fires near Trolley Line and Piney Heights marked green. That means they've both been contained. If they were red, it would mean they were still active.
100 days, 100 nights, no man's heart. All right, we know it won't be 100 days, but we will have to wait a bit longer for the Sharon Jones Amphitheater dedication. That ceremony, it was supposed to be tomorrow at Riverside Village, but it's now being postponed because of all the rain in the forecast. It'll now be next Friday, the 30th, with gates opening at 6 o'clock. The dedication ceremony is at 6:15. The concert starts at 6:30. Tickets are already sold out for the event.
We know she is looking down, smiling on that. A local World War II sailor has been accounted for, get this, nearly 80 years after his death in the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, we're learning Navy Boilermaker First Class William E. Blanchard was from Tignall, Georgia, and Wilkes County. In a release today, the Defense, POW, and MIA accounting agency said he was accounted for back in January. I want to show you a picture of Blanchard. We're told he was on board the USS Oklahoma when it was attacked in Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. He was among 429 of the ship's crewmen who died that day.
And officials say Blanchard was buried without being identified in the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific. It's known as the Punch Bowl in Hawaii. Crews started reviewing some of those unidentified sailors back in 2015 through dental and DNA data. That's how they eventually identified Blanchard. And we're told he will be buried in June in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. But just incredible, all these years later, his family finally has some semblance of closure.
For our Saturday, it is a first alert weather day. We are anticipating the threat for severe storms even starting by midday tomorrow. We'll have a look at that forecast next.
Plus, now that spring is here, it's time to tackle those outdoor projects. We're going to show you around the annual Home and Garden Show for some inspiration.
And it's lights, camera, action in the river region. An up-close look at Hollywood's latest film set. Next.
I know what it takes to win for you.
Who's ready for the movies? You're taking a live look outside the Regal Theater at Augusta Exchange, where doors are back open for the first time in more than a year. We're seeing spots across our area open back up again. The Riverwatch Cinemas on Cabela Drive, they're open on Tuesdays and the weekends. Then the Regal Theater over at the Aikens Mall is now set to reopen May 21st, getting back to normal.
And we love to see it. You do want to put this movie on your must-watch list. Hollywood Crews back out in action today, filming for Agent Game. It's a spy thriller full of stars. Mel Gibson, Jason Isaacs, Dermot Mulroney, which I'm sure I butchered his name because I'm not hip anymore, just to name a few.
That's okay. When you become a mom, we are automatically like 5-10 years behind.
Chasing Paw Patrol, I know him.
Yep, there you go. We have been following the film crews around for weeks, but today we actually got to go on set for a look around. This was at an industrial space off of Evans to Locks Road, and we're told the movie is full of twists and turns, and by the looks of it, plenty of action. We talked to the minds behind the magic about why they chose to film in Augusta. They say for an action movie, Augusta checks off all the boxes.
It's not everywhere that you can have a big explosion, bring in a helicopter, find a landing strip for a private jet. We have a lot of those sort of exotic toys and set pieces in this movie. And it helps to be in this sort of small town. I don't think we could have done this in Atlanta. No way.
A lot harder to get clearance to blow stuff up. And so far, we have seen crews in Evans, on Broad Street, and along the canal. And we are told there are going to be some explosions tonight.
Yes, tonight. So don't be alarmed if you hear things blowing up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't, immediately call us. We'll call you.
Want to take, though, a look now to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale, because this severe weather threat, the First Alert weather day tomorrow, on a Saturday, Riley, not what we want.
Unfortunately not, but it is the time of year for severe weather. April is definitely the time of year when we usually see our severe weather reports peak. So it is a time of year where this is not necessarily rare, but we are expecting a strong system to move in Saturday and bring us a few different types of threats. We can't rule out a few isolated tornadoes tomorrow. Large hail is going to be in the picture. Damaging straight line winds appears to what we have the most confidence in to happen tomorrow. But even flooding, can't rule out some isolated flash flooding to occur with some very heavy rain anticipated with storms moving through tomorrow. Now, most of us are currently dry. We're tracking a few isolated showers. This went through central Burke County, about to cross over Highway 25 there. Other than that, we are dry and looking dry through most of tonight. But starting tomorrow morning, we can already start to see some showers from this approaching system. You can see it's already producing a lot of severe weather across the panhandle of Texas, going towards Louisiana as well. And this is the system that's just going to be heading our way as we head into tomorrow. Now, for your Saturday with the severe weather threat, it could be two different waves. The rain we see early tomorrow morning most likely just going to be generic showers, but this first wave of storms does move through, timed out to most likely be around midday, possibly as soon as mid-morning through around mid-afternoon. That'll be our first wave of storms. The second wave, and that's the one I'm anticipating that most likely will have the biggest punch tomorrow. This second wave is anticipated to move through anytime after around 4 or 5 o'clock and then into our Saturday evening towards sunset before clearing out as we head into late Saturday night and good to go by Sunday morning. Sunday's still looking nice. Should be sunny for us and high temperatures getting close to 80 by Sunday afternoon. But with that threat of storms tomorrow, it is a First Alert weather day, so make sure you keep your phone charged up tomorrow. Also, make sure you download our Weather Alert Team app. That's a great way to stay on top of radar tomorrow, and we'll also be posting video updates in our app as well. So it is going to be a few different threats on the board. Can't rule out a few tornado warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings definitely possible as well. Can't even rule out a flash flood warning or two either for our Saturday. Here's a look at our projected rain totals. We are anticipating everybody to see at least an inch of rain. So this will greatly improve our abnormally dry conditions, as well as help alleviate those bad burning conditions that we've seen the past few days. Also going to help knock the pollen count down. And remember, whenever we show these rain totals, I wouldn't focus on a specific number for a specific location. This is just showing us a range of totals across the entire area. So it looks a good bet between 1.5 to 2.5 inches for a lot of us. And with that threat of heavy rain, the Weather Prediction Center has included us underneath this marginal risk for flash flooding tomorrow. So with some of those storms moving through, those rain rates can definitely be elevated to produce that flood risk for us. So that's why tomorrow is a First Alert weather day. We're going to be right here covering it for you all day tomorrow as soon as those storms do start to approach us. Sunday, we're good to go. Mostly sunny, and then heading into next week, we do start to warm up again, seeing those highs back above average Tuesday, Wednesday with highs in the mid-80s. Now, I was lucky enough to head out to the Augusta Home and Garden Show today at the James Brown Arena. They're going to continue it through the weekend. Here's a look at what you can check out there. Over 100 vendors will fill the James Brown Arena this weekend for the 16th annual Augusta Home and Garden Show. Admission this year is free, courtesy of New Swell. There's a great variety of vendors this year for any project around the house. You can get everything from new windows to new gutters, talk to a master gardener, or buy some native plants for your garden. Show manager Pamela Rogers says they have had 3 successful shows so far this year, and attendance has been up.
We noticed that they were down a little bit in vendors, maybe 10-20% down, but for the most part, the attendance was way up. People were ready. You know, their homes need updating.
There are also vendors outside of home improvement, ranging from adopting a new puppy to joining the Freedom Boat Club. The show will be open Saturday from 10 to 5 and then again on Sunday from 10 to 5 as well. Show officials do ask that you wear a mask.
And it's pretty hard to beat free. New Swell making those tickets available.
And I will say, obviously, the Home and Garden Show, so you expect to be a bunch of home improvement projects, gardening, but there's a bunch of cool little knick-knack stuff as well. Thomas and I had a great time just kind of walking around, finding different types of gifts. So
yeah, I got some great jelly there one year.
Yeah, great jelly, dips. I had a taste of rum cake there, so a bunch of
nice. And jacuzzis and massage chairs.
I think I'm going to pick up a hummingbird feeder. May have to head out there on Sunday.
That's a good idea. There's a lot of ideas, too. You go out there, you come back with a honey-do list a mile long.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. But tons of stuff for everybody out there. Even some puppies.
Oh, see, now you're speaking my language. I do not need any more.
Don't let Meredith out there. She is at her limit.
Yeah, I am. I'm actually over the limit. But,
They're pretty cute.
Oh, man. Coming up in sports, signings day. the area's latest Division I talent coming up.